The mother of a murdered Christchurch man today described the unforgivable heartbreak of seeing her battered, bruised and broken son, who was beaten to death before being burned. Last month, the jury found Peter John Carroll guilty of murdering 36-year-old Marcus Tucker, whose body was found by Lake Ellesmere in Canterbury on Anzac Day last year. Carroll was today sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. He must serve that at the High Court in Christchurch. Our reporter Maja Burry was there, and just before we have Maja's story, a warning: if you've got kids with you, some parts of Maja's story are disturbing.
For the murder of Marcus Tucker, I sentence you to life imprisonment in order that you serve a minimum period of imprisonment of 17 years. Please stand down.
Marcus Tucker's family clapped as Peter Carroll was sentenced this morning. With them in court, a photo of the 36-year-old father of three on a wooden box containing his ashes. In a victim impact statement, Mr Tucker's sister, Belinda Ross, said Carroll would never understand the pain he had inflicted on her family. She hoped her brother's screams for mercy haunted him every day. She described the grief and trauma of seeing Mr Tucker in the morgue after his death.
His face was so badly battered, they didn't want us to see it. But we saw it, and I saw the pain he had suffered. I saw he hadn't died peacefully. I saw the bruises and burns. After we left the hospital morgue, I had to go buy new clothes as I smelt of Marcus. I smelt like his burnt flesh. I had to throw those clothes away.
Mr Tucker's mother, Robin, said Carroll had taken Marcus away from his three children, aged 18, 8 and 5, at the time he died. She said it had been heartbreaking having to tell his 8-year-old son that his dad was dead.
We relive this often, as he is a curious little boy with lots of questions that we may never be able to answer. You took Marcus away from me, his dad, his brother, his sister, but you did more than that. You took Marcus away from his three children.
Justice Davidson said Marcus Tucker's family held no illusions around Mr Tucker's lifestyle and associations, but he said the family expected Mr Tucker would pull himself together at some stage because he was a man who, in his own way, loved his children. Robin Tucker said the pain and suffering had endured much longer because Carroll did not accept responsibility for murdering her son.
You prolonged it by making us sit through a trial, looking at photos of our son, hearing evidence of his murder, all while you sat there showing no remorse at all. Our dreams, our hopes, family times have been smashed, ripped away from us. Marcus will never get to share a drink with his kids, never find a loving partner or hold his grandchildren.
During the trial, the Crown said Marcus Tucker's death was a case of mistaken identity and that Carroll had intended to confront somebody else with a similar nickname. 53-year-old Carroll admitted striking Mr Tucker with the car steering wheel lock, but maintained he never intended to kill him. During sentencing today, Justice Davidson said Carroll's attack was cold-blooded and calculated.
There was evidence of your callousness in the way you carried out the assault and when you took Mr Tucker's body away in the boot of the car before setting his body alight in a futile attempt to destroy evidence. You then simply dumped him by the side of the road.
Justice Davidson said Carroll had previously committed offences in Australia and New Zealand that primarily involved drugs and dishonesty. He said Carroll's life spiralled out of control last year after he lost his job as a builder and turned to drug dealing.
You are at the same time a man who is able, intelligent and qualified to hold down a building job and to gain qualifications. Yet you lived in another world where the use of methamphetamine by you and your associates and of other drugs, including synthetic cannabis, influenced your everyday living. And that other world is very clearly why you are for sentence today.
Carroll showed no emotion as Justice Davidson sentenced him to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. Mr Tucker's mother, Robin, said it was justice for her boy. In Christchurch for Checkpoint, Maja Burry.